How's it going, guys? My name's Earl here. What I have here is a 2008 MacBook Pro. Isn't this thing obsolete now? I mean, it's been over almost 2 decades by now. The answer is yes and no. So the thing with these MacBooks is that they have this thing called a 64-bit architecture CPU. And that was one of the biggest reasons why Apple switched from the PowerPC era, aka the G4, G3, the G5s, to the Intel Core Duos, and I guess the Intel Core 2 Duo, which this thing has. As much as we'd like to say that this is completely obsolete, which it is in a lot of situations where you want this to be as your daily machine, for funsies, like what we're going to be doing right now, this is completely an interesting experience because this came out in 2008. It has 2 cores, 4 gigabytes of memory, and the only thing that is speedy enough is that SSD. This is one of those cases where I think between the Intel Core i series chips, that's when everything just started to kind of plateau when it comes to really performance differences even until now. You can still use a computer from 2010 and still be fine with it. For most of the people who just does the basic web browsing, social media, YouTube, Netflix, whatnot, this is going to be totally fine. However, really the only time where it really matters is when you want to game or do some rendering, video editing, photo editing. That's where it really matters to have the latest and greatest. Now, one of my favorite things about this computer is that the design of this, the newer MacBooks, well, the M4, the M3, that series of generation of MacBook Pros, you can see the resemblance of it. It is on the boxy side of things. I mean, if you compare it to, let's say, this previous generation 2019 MacBook Pro right here, that one has that taper edge design where it's not really a fully boxed out like this one right here. I really love the way this thing looks. Aside from this really old style clicky trackpad and this big disc right here and this push to open lid, I think this design has held up significantly well. And especially those borders are not that far off from a 2019 or even newer MacBooks than that, which is kind of crazy to think about. Taking a closer look at here, what's interesting about this laptop is that this isn't really glass, so you could really touch the physical display. Now, the unibody era has that glass in front of the display, which makes it very reflective. However, this previous generation is very much reflective, resilient for the most part. The only thing that really makes it hard to see during the day is how bright this display is, which is not very bright. Even though this isn't really a 1080p display, it is surprisingly nice from far away from where I am actually, at least right now. Now let's take an overview of the specs. Now I am running Big Sur because I believe Big Sur on Core 2 Duos is the last best version regarding macOS. Anything more than that, like Monterey or Ventura, that's when things just start to go downhill, and that's totally understandable. This would run far better when it comes to Linux or some sort of other operating systems, but that doesn't really make it MacBook anymore because that turns into a Windows machine. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as I can, but I'm sure at some point we won't be able to do that. Can you believe this 2008 MacBook has an update available for macOS Tahoe? I am so tempted to click upgrade now and just see how terrible experience that would be. Look at the design of this computer. This computer just looks absolutely futuristic even today. I would say this is one of my favorite laptop designs besides the polycarbonate plastic MacBook that came out a year after this. And I love how that MacBook Pro logo under that display looks very shiny. It definitely gives it that class. And again, that display is surprisingly good. Okay, SITREP, I just realized there are going to be a lot of applications that will no longer be supporting Big Sur. I have the ability to upgrade to Monterey. I'm sure it is quite detrimental to the performance, but you know what? Why don't we just try to say YOLO? And bam, an hour and 12 minutes. That should be enough to charge the battery too, right? Hopefully. Oh yeah, that battery is charging. Oh yeah. All right, so it has been a couple of hours since I have fully installed Monterey, and I've also installed a couple of applications right here like Minecraft and Steam, which is actually quite impressive. I've also downloaded Google Chrome for funsies. I already know that that is going to be an interesting experience. Now let me go ahead and connect to Wi-Fi right here, because sometimes the thing with OpenCore Legacy Patcher on these older devices is that the Wi-Fi sometimes just doesn't connect fully. Pretty sure that's like a driver issue for these older Core 2 Duos, but you know, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and go to Google Chrome, because I feel like that's what everybody is going to start doing. And I'm going to go ahead and play this in real time. And as you can see, it took some time to really load that page. However, once it's loaded, you can go to full screen right here. It is completely usable. I'm going to go ahead and go to YouTube, because I feel like that's what everybody does now. The keyboard is pretty fantastic, by the way. And despite this trackpad being on the smaller side of things, the multi-touch gesture actually works pretty well. So as you can see, it just works like any other modern machine or modern laptop. It's just the fact that it's a lot smaller and it has a physical tap click. So we're watching one of my recent videos right here, and we are at 480p right now, and it works perfectly fine. As you can see, it booted up relatively quick. Let me do that one more time. Click refresh, and as you can see, it boots up pretty quick.
How's it going, guys? My name's Earl.
Now if we go ahead and go to settings right here and perhaps put it at 1080p first before we go to big 4K, it loads pretty fine. And you know, there's nothing wrong with 1080p on this laptop. If you give it a couple of seconds to load, it loads perfectly fine. We're doing some MacBook inception right now. Now, going any further than 1080p on this laptop panel, it's not gonna suffice, because it is only a 900p display. So even a 720p is perfectly fine for this. But let's go ahead and go to the big 4K and see how this thing struggles. Now, right off the bat, I know those fans are gonna kick in really fast. So if this thing even works somehow, I would be genuinely impressed. And actually, no, it works, but it is buffering pretty bad. So if we skim through, as you can see, it's just not usable. And of course, that fan is slowly spinning or ramping up. And if you go back over here where there's a lot of moving action, it does what you expect it to be, which is just buffering and a lot of slowdowns. So as you can see, 4K might not be the ideal solution for this laptop, which it never is supposed to be anyway, but the fact that it's running without crashing is quite impressive. Actually, it is struggling to load 1080p 60 right now. That is interesting. We're gonna put it down to 720p 60. Okay, that's a lot better. But yeah, the speakers are surprisingly good. Yeah, so the speakers are great for what they are. They're not loud, but surprisingly, condition-wise, this computer is on that top end of the spectrum. We can see if you go to the memory settings right here, we are basically maxing out that maximum 4 gigabytes of memory. So you could really see why 4 gigabytes is not cutting it in 2026, let alone running Monterey. So physical memory is 4. We've already used about 3 gigabytes of that memory. So if we open one more application or one more tab, I'm sure that thing is gonna swap files, which it is. It's already swapping to the SSD. And we know that these have 3 gigabits per second transfer speeds with the SSD. So when it swaps to the SSD, it's not very quick. And so you will really notice a lot of the slowdowns on that end. So if we go ahead and start typing with this keyboard, which a lot of people regard this as one of the better keyboards that Apple has produced on a MacBook, I would definitely agree. It's very nice, and there's not a lot of mushiness to them. Definitely there's a bit of a flex on the laptop, since this is actually plastic on the top, just making it look like brushed aluminum. This is kind of flimsy right here around this area. So, you know, the keyboard might be good, but if you put a lot of weight on it, you could really feel the flex, which I am not a fan of. Now, how can we forget about that trackpad? Now, although this is a 2008 with this physical click, as you can see, this is a multi-gesture trackpad, so you can use 4-finger scrolling, you can use a lot of the shortcuts, which is kind of cool. And that is one thing I really like about this, is that I believe Apple started messing around with multi-touch gesture in this specific MacBook right here until they fully converted to that full glass. Okay, so the battery has fully charged after a whole day of use, or a whole day of charging. It has surprisingly held up, so if I quite unplug this right now, it actually holds up pretty well, which is surprisingly impressive. I need to check how many cycles this thing has, but I'm sure it is up there. That is some weird graphical artifacting we have on Minecraft right now. So hopefully this thing plays out. If not, well, that would be interesting. Oh my gosh. Seriously? Okay, to give it a better benefit of the doubt, I'm gonna go ahead and restart Minecraft. Can you believe it? This type of temperature back in the day was the norm for MacBooks. You might have to lower the settings quite a bit to the bare minimum, if you even can. It looks like the trees are in fabulous settings. That's probably why we're having some problems. Yeah, we can put this as low as we can, all the way. We are hovering at an astonishing 1 frame per minute. I'm hearing pigs and all sorts of creatures in Minecraft. And I can walk, but it is frames per minute. You can play Minecraft totally fine on this computer. I think it's just Monterey. I think I should have just stuck with Big Sur. Man, I hate seeing this struggle. There you go, folks. That is Minecraft running on a Core 2 Duo machine. Now, to give you guys an example of how long this thing takes to load, we are opening Steam right now, and it's taking a bit of its good old time. Logging in, that is a significantly slow experience. But we're somewhere. Let's go ahead and go to games. Put this at full screen. We're gonna start with Stardew Valley. Now I only have 2 games here because I know my most recent game, which is Car X Street from 2024, is definitely not gonna run on this machine. That's fine. But if it can't run Stardew Valley, then there's something wrong with this computer. But if it can, which it should, now Stardew Valley on this, you should be able to run no problems. I highly doubt you're gonna face some serious consequences playing this type of game. I mean, it's only 600 megabytes. You know, Minecraft back in the day used to be 600 megabytes. Look at it now. It's filled with a lot of things that you don't really need. And of course, as expected, you can play a Stardew Valley with no issues on this game. And that's a solid 60 frames per second as well, which is quite impressive. As you can see right there. Pretty nice. Alright, Borderlands 2. Click any key. Oh my gosh, it's actually playing. Hold on a second, let's go to options right here. Before we actually go to the actual gameplay, we need to make sure that everything here is as low as it can possibly be. Okay, we are running at its lowest settings, and it looks like at 800 by 600, we're having some couple of hiccups here and there on the CPU, but wow, this is an astonishing 11 frames per second. You know, I'm actually quite impressed that this is still working. And we're gonna experience killing some bullymongs with a trackpad and a 2008 MacBook. Oh gosh. Hey. We're actually doing a pretty good job. We're doing a pretty good job for what this is. Thank you, auto aim. Got him. Oh gosh. Got him. Where's the other? Oh, there's one more right here. Oh no, there's more. Oh, bullymongs. God, I hate bullymongs. So we're gonna go ahead and exit out Steam. What I'm curious about is if I can get the same performance as my other newer laptops or phones with my internet. So I am running at 5 gigahertz right now on this computer. You know, 112 megabytes is not too bad for 1080p use. Normally I get around 300, 400. And that's probably one of the contributing factors to just having a slower experience in general. I guess we shall unplug this to conclude this video. So to conclude this video, a Core 2 Duo in 2026 is not going to cut it, especially on macOS. However, this still has a lot of plenty of potential, which I'll be making videos of later on. I'm planning on putting Fedora on this or Linux Mint in another video, so stay tuned for that. This design has held up significantly well, and I feel like Apple was on the right track for this one when it comes to design. Unfortunately, these are also plagued with graphical issues because they run too hot, as well as the fact that, they're only Core 2 Duos, and it's also limited by the maximum RAM capacity of 4 gigabytes or 6 gigabytes, I believe. But, even with 6 gigabytes, I don't think that's even enough in 2026. So really, it's just good for something you want to experiment with. And it's not something that you should take it seriously with or use it as an actual machine for work. I don't think that's a good idea at all. But hey, this is what this YouTube channel is. And I'm sure you guys are loving my struggles of playing Minecraft on this thing. But I swear Minecraft used to play on this. Not sure what happened, but thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Peace out. Oh gosh, there's like 2 of them. Oh, not a good time right now. There you go.